Good afternoon and welcome to Distributive Solar Tools and Discovery Series, Understanding the Working Model with Eric and Eric. Congratulations to you on choosing to pursue the solar technology profession. We are in the early stages of an energy revolution that will be transformative in the way we live our lives. We're excited to take this journey with you. Let's jump right in to understanding the working model.
Good afternoon. What we are going to do is just go over the main points, the main pages and highlight of this working model. This is going to be presented from the point of view of almost a cold call. This is prior to you having any type of utility data, any type of the interval data that we will discuss later. The thing that we want to make sure you understand from this presentation about this working model: there's no other piece of sales equipment, no other brochure, no other infographic. This is your key. This is your number one sales tool to getting the deal closed with your business owners, your CFOs who will make the decisions about putting solar technology on their service buildings.
This is this example right here. This is a working model for 110 kilowatt system. And what we are presenting here is the max feasibility. So when you give us an address of a property, this is what we'll be able to produce for them. And we are going to put as much solar on that roof as we can to see how much potential that there is. Okay? And so as part of this, it's very important to understand what the distributive solar commercial marketplace is. You know, it forces transparency and competitive pricing from certified solar contractors across the country. But the way that I like to look at it is this is the Uber or Airbnb of solar. We, as solar originators, are bringing us a supply of projects to the platform, thousands of them. And on the other end of the platform, there are construction companies who are looking for projects to construct. It's a perfect marriage. This has never been done before. But what it's ultimately is doing here is driving down the cost of solar for commercial business owners, which is good for their business propositions.
Page 2 is probably for you, the originator, the most important piece of this working model, because this is where you get the signature from the decision maker to move forward with you as their agent, their offensive coordinator, representing them to the solar marketplace through this agency agreement. That you, at the bottom of this page, page 2, they just simply have to sign one little spot that says yes, they want you to represent them. What this page is also going to do is going to show you and your client the aerial 3D view of their current property. It will be oriented with directions correct. North will be to the top of the page, south, bottom, etc. You want ideally, you'd like a south-facing roof. Doesn't have to be south-facing, but you're going to get the best utilization and the best production from a south-facing roof, especially in the winter when the sun is at the southern hemisphere. You also want roofs that have limited obstructions and limited shading. You don't want a lot of HVAC units up there. You don't want a lot of trees. You don't want a lot of taller buildings that are dwarfing your current location. As you can see, this building is prime. No trees, no building, hardly any shading whatsoever. This is a prime building.
Yeah, so to add to that is that you also want to make sure that this is a rooftop that still has plenty of life in it. Okay, you don't want to put this on a 30-year roof and waste everybody's time. You want to do your due diligence up front. Okay, so flat roof, south-facing if possible, limited obstructions, limited shading, plenty of life left in that building. Flat roofs are best. So take a look at this picture and see how big the cars are compared to the rooftop so you get an understanding of what a 110 kilowatt system is. This is a building that's roughly about 12,000 square feet.
With one final thing, as Eric was talking about the roof, If it is an older roof, that's even more of a possibility, a tremendous sales opportunity for you. One of the largest commercial roofing installers in the country is part of the Solar Site Design and Distributive Solar platform, and they have a solution to build and replace the roof and install the solar system all at the same time to save your client lots of money.
Yeah, and while we're looking at this picture, keep in mind your best prospects not only have this type of these attributes about the roof, but they're big energy users. Okay, you do not want to focus on a building that might be just a retail store that does not use a lot of energy. This particular working model is based on a machine shop where they are using a lot of energy on site, and that this solar array that we're proposing is not enough to cover all their energy usage. Okay, this is going to cover a good portion of their usage. Okay, and that leads us to this third slide here, and you see at the top where it says behind the meter. What does that mean? This working model is designed on a behind the meter proposal. That means we are trying to design a system that offsets energy they're using on site. We're not trying to build a system where we're selling energy to the utility. That gets very, very complicated. We're trying to keep it very simple. This is a cash deal proposal for behind the meter to offset energy uses on site. And so as you see over here to the top right is $1.75 a watt. That's the price per watt of this proposal. That is a great price. A lot of your customers, if they've ever seen a solar proposal before, that number might have been 2 or 3 times that. We've seen energy prices or solar technology prices plummet over the last decade. And even over the last 3 years, we've seen almost a 60% decrease in the price of the equipment.
So just working down the list here, the total project cost, keep in mind this is a gross number. This will be the number before the federal tax credit and the federal bonus depreciation that they get. So that's the gross number. We'll get into the net cost on the next page. We're highlighting here the 30-year electric bill savings of almost $700,000. First year savings of $16,000. And then a 30-year internal rate of return of over 16%. CFOs love to see numbers in the mid-teens on their CapEx investments. Eric mentioned behind the meter, the cash-on-cash deal. You're looking at a 5-year payback on a cash-on-cash deal. 5-year payback on a 30-year piece of equipment is simply amazing. This particular client said they typically looked for a 2 or 3 year payback on equipment that they purchased, but in talking with them in deeper, the equipment that they're purchasing, they're actually replacing and buying new equipment every 7 years. So they're getting a payback of 2 to 3 years on a piece of equipment that only lasts 7. In this case, it's a 5-year payback on a piece of equipment that's going to be at least warranted for 30 years and may even last longer than that.
All right, and then on the bottom, you see electricity escalation rate. We're using 3% inflation rate for electricity in this particular model, but when we look over the last 20 years across the United States, we've seen average electricity cost rise 4.7%. So a lot of times you may want to use 4% escalation rate. We're using 3 in this example to be ultra conservative. And then at the bottom of this page is simply a graph of the above. The circle below shows the net price after the incentives. We see the 5-year payback, but look at that blue area. Those are savings. Those are dollars that are staying in your customer's pocket. One of their main objectives is to always run their companies efficiently and lean as possible. And so we're offering them a solution to lowering their operating costs and to dramatically reduce their energy cost. This next slide is details about the solar technology system itself, how much production is going to be generated. So the green on that bottom chart, that shows what a 110 kilowatt system, how much energy that will produce. So it's pretty significant for this example that we were able to offset almost half of the energy uses on that estimate. And before we get into the the incentives, I just want to note here about these warranties. Solar panels are very durable equipment, and on Tier 1 equipment, which is used in all of our projects, many solar panel companies will warranty these panels for 30 years. That's a testament to the durability of this technology.
We discussed the $192,500 cost on the prior slide. This is where we now get to break down and back out the tax credits and the bonus depreciations to get a net cost of $85,000 for this particular system. The $1.75 a watt, that's the gross number Eric mentioned earlier on the 110 kilowatt system. When you figure then the net cost, $85,000 on the 110 kilowatt system, you're now down to well below $1 a watt on an installed basis, which is just simply incredible.
Now these tax credits that you see here, they're 30%. They're going to stay intact until the year 2020, and they're going to start to decline. So we have a 3-year window here to really take advantage of these tremendous benefits. We've seen solar equipment prices plummet. We've seen the federal tax credit extended to 2020. Now it is the right time, it's the perfect time to present this to your customers.
One thing to keep in mind about the tax credits, and again, we want to keep this very simple, but the question may arise. Some businesses run very thin margins, don't show a lot of profits. This federal tax credit is an offset of their income, the business income, their personal income. If they can't use them all in the particular year that they install the system, they can carry those credits forward indefinitely to allow them to show more profit in a subsequent year. They can also have their accountant go back 1 year prior to the installation and amend the tax return for a prior year to offset post or prior taxes as well. So just keep that in mind.
Yes, and another note on that is that we're looking at commercial businesses here. All right, so when you're doing your prospecting and your due diligence, you want to target companies that are strong companies, that they have good financials, where the owners can utilize these tax credits and depreciation effectively so that they can get the lowest cost that they can for the best system possible. So that brings me to thinking about schools versus businesses, okay? We'll have another webinar on nonprofits. We're talking about companies that are for-profit. When we get into the nonprofits, they can't use these tax credits. It's a whole different deal structure. So again, go for what's easy. There's hundreds of thousands of commercial businesses across this country that can pay cash for behind-the-meter system that can utilize these tax credits. This next slide is just for to let you know and just kind of highlight what these incentives are. So read through that. The tax credits and depreciation are a very significant part of these deals, and so we want to be able to use them. So we need to have companies that have the capability to use them.
Okay, this next slide, again, keeping in mind this is an initial max feasibility. We do not have actual utility data or interval data yet. This is just simply an estimated monthly bill from this current facility. At the top, the utility rates are broken down. You'll see Tier 1, Tier 2s. That's based on our local TVA provider here in Tennessee. So we will know what those rates are for the market. When you upload a project, whether it's in Indiana, Texas, Ohio, Florida, wherever you may be, the software will pick up approximate utility rates of your local providers. At the top, you see we've had the interval data up there highlighted. That is very, very crucial to getting accurate comparisons for cost savings when it comes down to it. If you have a facility that is firing up machines at 7 a.m. in the morning and that is causing a huge spike in demand. They may be being charged 75-80% of their electricity from that initial spike early in the morning, and a solar technology system is really not going to help them that much. So keep that in mind going forward.
You don't get bogged down on utility rates. They're very, very complicated, and that's why we have experts that can help you with that. The main thing that you need to be aware of is that you need to collect 12 months of utility bills from your customer, and you ultimately need to get the 15-minute interval data so we can see their energy usage throughout the day, so we can design a system that's appropriate for their business structure. And this next page just simply shows the savings on this estimate, which is in this case $16,000 a year, which is, again, that's what they're looking for. Your customer's looking to reduce operating expenses. All right, this final slide here is a good summary page of how your customer can benefit from solar technology on their roof. We see the project cost here, but we see the 10-year IRR, double digits, the 20-year IRR, 30-year IRR. Those are great numbers. We also see the payback period. And one term that you might not be familiar with is the degradation rate. That is simply how much efficiency that the solar panels lose per year, about 0.5% of production. Over 25 years, these panels are operating at 85% of their original capacity. So those are the main points on this page. But if we just kind of summarize this whole thing, we just want to emphasize that this working model is your number one sales tool. Be an expert at this working model. You're not going to be an expert electrician in 6 months or a year. Let the electricians handle that part. We have experts across the entire channel here, where you are at the top of the funnel, you are an originator, and you are just merely presenting the opportunity to your client. So focus on what they really care about, which is return on investment and payback and energy savings.
A few final big picture stats to keep in mind, and you folks may have seen this from us before in that little infographic that we've shared with you. But on average, businesses that utilize a solar technology system offset their electricity usage and offset their bill on average between 50 to 75%. They pay off that technology system in 3 to 7 years on average on a cash-on-cash deal, and they increase the value of their building on a 20-to-1 ratio. For every dollar of electricity that the business offsets through the solar, increases their building by $20. So think about it in the form of every $10,000 in savings increases the value of their building by over $200,000. Simply tremendous, and what a tremendous opportunity for you as an originator to be part of a revolution. I mean, we are simply scratching the surface. Costs are now to the point to where it just simply makes good business sense for companies to move forward with this. There's really no excuse for them not to look at this anymore.
So again, we thank you for your time and joining us on the Tools and Discovery series with Distributive Solar and Eric. We welcome any questions you have. Any questions you have on this particular webinar or one of our other webinars, reach out to us at info@distributivesolar.com. Thank you very much, and have a great day.